So you want to see part one. That'll prepare you for this part two. What we're doing is expanding on the one-stroke rudiments. And we talked about single strokes. And we talked about adding the grace note to make a flam, which is a compound stroke now. And then we expanded those into two-stroke rudiments. But now we're going to build on this flam by adding one more grace note right before each. And so now I just added right. So now we have right, left, and a right. The principal stroke and the grace notes, left, right, left. They call this a three-stroke ruff. They call it a ruff. It's really rough sounding. And again, this is going to be the loud one. And you can make it really loud, or you can change the dynamics. You can make it accented really loud or change the dynamics. And so that sounds like this. Again, you're going to use your fingers for your control of your grace note generally, and you're going to keep your wrists limp, all right? Traditional grip, you don't have to keep the left limp because it is already limp, right? So you're going to play in this limp wrist, so it's limp. It's very relaxed. And you're going to use your fingers, so it's going to be right, left, right. You're going to practice one side at a time until you get good at that, and then the other side, and then alternate it back and forth. Right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. You can make it very even sound, or put some more space. So this creates a whip. If you put it on two sounds, like, you can see what each hand does separately. This is all just, it's just a tap. This is an upstroke and a downstroke, up and a down, up and a down. This rhythm is called the train beat. The and to the and to the and for the end. Counting sixteenths, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Counting quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the rest. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We talked about that in the first video, is using different countings, different notes with a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or you can make it an even, very even, no rests. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Eighth note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, different counting. 1 D dot, 2 D dot, 3 D dot, 4 D dot. 1. Okay, so you can use different countings. We talked about that. Now you're going to do your left side. 1 E N, 2 E N, 1 E N. Work on your. This is my weak side because I'm right-handed, so I'm going to work on that more. 1. And I'm actually looking in the mirrors. I have a mirror over here and a mirror over here. I don't know if you can see the mirrors. So I have one over here and I have one over here. You can see just the corner of it. So I can see the insides of my hands on the mirrors. I can see the outsides of the hands. And I usually have a mirror right in front of me, so I can see everything. And then alternate. 1 E-N, 2 E-N. Remember, when you alternate, you're going to change the stroke types. Remember, there's 4 basic stroke types, but 9 total. When you do unaccented, 1 E-N, 2 E-N, 3 E-N, 4 E-N, 1 E-N, 2 E-N, 3 E-N, 4 E-N, 1 E-N, 2 E-N, 3 E-N, 4 E-N. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we get rid of the space, we're going to have an even 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you want to use it in different counting speeds, dynamics. You want a lot of variety. Variety is the spice of life. There's a great video on how to expand using variety. This makes your practice a lot more fun, and it goes by like that. Your technique is going to change what you do with your hands when you change the speed, or because you got to use more fingers, right? And you got to come up with ways to do that. I have a whole technique page. So when you expand that, we talked about every rudiment can be expanded. Those grace notes in the compound stroke, they don't have any definite time value. We talked about that in the first video. So you can give them any kind of counting you want. You know, make them close, really, really close, really tight to the principal stroke. That does have a definite time value. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got to fit those all in before the definite note value, right? You got to sneak them in there. So you got to figure out how to do that. But if I expand it, we have a different rudiment. These are 3-stroke rudiments. Now they call them single-stroke 3s. And you can play those even. You can put an accent in the beginning, the accent in the end. Both, you can play them different dynamics. So it's a whole nother rudiment. And that's the beauty of rudiments. One rudiment feeds the other, builds the other. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, now it sounds like we're doing the Ruff, but this is a Ruff. It's really, really compressed, really contracted. So it sounds really rough, you know. But the way we build, there's called builders. We often expand the rudiment, and then we can build it and build it by going faster and faster and contracting and compressing it, in this case, into the Ruff. So we go. So we might just go that slow. And when we start compressing it, we can put more space between the Ruffs. It's like a little burst of energy, right? So we have to use more fingers to do that, less wrist. Definitely no arms. All right, so you get the idea there. So that is the 3-stroke Ruff, but when you expand it, it becomes single stroke 3 or SS3. All right, so we want to add one more to it. And when we do this, we now get into what's called a 4-stroke Ruff. And so we get this, a 4-stroke Ruff. Wow, that's a lot of notes to fit in there. And this is just one variation of the 4-stroke Ruff. All right, we'll explain that. And again, if you expand it, you're going to have a 4-stroke rudiment. And you can put the accent on the beginning or the end, or both. And so that's how I practice larger rudiments. Accents on the beginning or the end, or both. So you can see that. You can start speeding that up, and it'll turn into the 4-stroke Ruff. So they have a different name for single stroke 4. They call it a single stroke 4. It's a rudiment called a single stroke 4. Usually the accent's on the end. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So now it's turning into a 4-stroke Ruff. It's more of a burst of energy. Remember, the stroke at the end is the definite note value. It's 1 or and, 1 and 2 and. It's what has to happen right with the metronome. All the other stuff is just leading up. So I call those setup strokes. They're setting up. So this is the 1, 1, 1. So I got to go left, right. So I got to get all that in before 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got to have a metronome on that definite note value. 1 and 2 and. Now these are 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so you got to get them all in there. So depending on the tempo, it can be really difficult. If the tempo is very fast, you're not going to get all those notes in. You know what I'm saying? So that is the 4-stroke Ruff, or expanded single stroke 4, SS4. Now, there are other variations of the single stroke 4, the 4-stroke Ruff, because you can have something like this. That's a variation. It's 4 strokes. It creates a rough sound. But now we have a diddle up front. So we got a reverse paradiddle, because if you expand this, you have a 4-stroke rudiment called a reverse paradiddle, because it's paradiddle. So it's in reverse. That's another rudiment. Some people call it a windmill, right? They call it a windmill. So people come up with strange names for these things. So let's look at that again. So you have right, left, right. So this little thing is all grace notes, right? It's all grace notes. And so you have a double, which you're going to have to learn how to bounce it or use your fingers very fast. The faster you go, you're going to have to learn how to maybe bounce it and just pick the stick up. called separating your hands. So you can see that I had to do an up stroke, tap, up stroke, down stroke. And then the other side. It really creates a whip. There's some really special techniques of dropping your fingers loose and then picking them up. Okay, that's on their techniques page. Main thing is you know what you got to do. All these are sagging, all these are limp wrists, and then it comes down. All right, so that is one of the variations of the single-stroke four-stroke Ruff. And then another variation is to have the diddle in the middle. The two little lefts are in the middle, two little rights are in the middle. And if we expand that, you have, I like to call it the diddle in the middle, but it's a paradiddle, but it's called an inside paradiddle because it's inside. So here it is, right, left, right, right. There's paradiddle, paradiddle. So it's been really just paradiddle just shifted over, right? It's been shifted over, but it creates this diddle in the middle. And again, you're always going to practice this on one side, and then the other, and then both. So you're going to expand it, right, right, left, right, right, right. Okay, and then the other side, right, left, left, right. Sorry, I did that. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Oh man, I made a mistake. Use my fingers and picking it up. So that is how you do each side. And then again, you're gonna back and forth, alternate. Now that again always changes your stroke type. So go slow to figure it out. Right, left, left, right. Now we gotta keep it down. Right, left, left, right. Left, right, right, left. It's very, I think it's the exact same stroke types in this case. Now, you could get confused in the sound, so put it on two sounds. That sound difference is going to help you create sound memory. That will help you with your motion memory. So I a lot of times just start right out with sound memory. Sorry. Now, when you even it all out and get rid of all the spaces, now you really get into that expanded four-stroke rudiment, which is called the reverse paradiddle. But a lot of times with these expanded rudiments, again, they put the accent on the beginning. They don't put the accent on the end. Let's try that. Left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left. So it has a different sound, doesn't it? And you really want to have this variety is the spice of life. You want this variety is the spice of life. So we're losing a little power here. So that was exactly the one variation. We had the second variation. This is the last variation. It's a triple stroke that leads up to the principal stroke. So it looks like that. It's a triple stroke, four-stroke Ruff. So it's a triple stroke leading up to the principal stroke, right? So when we expand it, you can really see that. They call it a triple single, triple single, triple single, right? So they have a different name for it. And so we have a very difficult to do a triple because when you go fast, you have to kind of bounce it and then pick it up. So it looks like learn how to go like this. But remember, these grace notes are quiet, so you don't have that velocity to help create the momentum to do this. You can't press it. That's a whole different thing. So this is going to be tricky. So I would do the expanded version and gradually build up your technique and your speed. You learn how to basically pick it up after 3 times. It's almost like a buzz, but you can tell if you really tighten your snare that it's I find it hard to do when I go slow because you really have to control. I have to pretty much get my finger on the top like a French timpani grip. All right, I'm not that good on my left side. I can tell. I'll warn you right now. So that's the 4-stroke Ruff expanded, and we had a fun time with that, the 3-stroke Ruff and the 4-stroke Ruff. And I'm going to go to the next part because now we're not doing single strokes or combinations with doubles or a triple to create those grace notes. We're going to do the double stroke, and that creates what's called the drag or half drag. Let's go to the next video for that. See you on part 3. God bless you. Look forward to your comments so you can help one another spread the love. That's what this is. This whole website's about. God bless you. Bye-bye.